Hi, welcome back everyone. Today we have a different kind of video. Today I'm going to show off my collection. I've been collecting since like July of this year really, but I started collecting back when I was in middle school and then into high school, and I kind of stopped halfway through college because I didn't have a job. So a lot of these series are series I've really never talked about on the show here, the channel. Because it's been so long since I read them. This bookshelf me and my girlfriend made together. It was mostly her because it was supposed to be a gift to me, but I did help her out quite a bit with all this stuff as well. And we also still have a lot of work to do. You can see some of the cords down there and everything, but I think it looks great otherwise. I have to clean up a little bit more still, but I wanted to get this video out to you guys as a thanks for hitting 100 subs. It means so much to me to hit 100. Some people it might seem like a small milestone, but for me it's pretty cool. So let's go through this collection. I'll break it down a series at a time. I'll post little small clips to start with, and then one big video for everyone who likes to binge watch these things, okay? I actually had to refilm this section because I did it at nighttime, and my girlfriend, who is filming it right now, so that's what you see on the screen, said, no, you have to film it during the day. Our lights are too yellow. It makes everything look so warm and gross. So this is her refilming it, and you can see her nail polish probably a little earlier on, I think it was, or maybe it's later on, I don't know. Anyways, that's the series she likes. She loves Monster. So this is her handiwork. So an extra thanks to Miss Chubbs, as she's on YouTube. I don't think she posts anything anymore though, because she couldn't get off. She's trying to do reviews, but it's okay. Anyways, I am very thankful for her work and her help throughout this project with me. It has been a long and very frustrating journey, to say the least, for the both of us, but definitely rewarding to see it all done, for sure. So, without further ado, let's start. So I have these labeled alphabetically. I would like to change it to alphabetical by author, but for now we're going to keep it this way. I'll make another video if I change it. So to start off, we have 20th Century Boys. Let's try to show you some art here. This is kind of awkward. Let me open it a little bit more. Oh, okay. Alright, so let's just do this. So 20th Century Boys is about this group of friends who have grown up and kind of gone into their own thing, gotten into their own funk. You know, some of them have reached their dreams, some of them are living like a life they never thought they'd live, where they just still live with their parents, they're in their 30s, 40s, no girlfriend, no kids, that kind of thing. But then this familiar person or thing shows up called Friend, and he starts to kind of butt into their lives and begins to take over Japan. But the thing about the symbol they use is very familiar to the main cast, and the reason is it was the same symbol they had at their clubhouse when they were kids. And they start to realize the events that are taking place are happening the exact same way they planned it out when they were kids. They start to notice one of their friends catches on to some things, and then he's dead. So they really feel like they need to get to the bottom of this before they're next. It does begin to get a little out of control, and things escalate pretty good. So it's a very cool sci-fi thriller. I definitely recommend this if somebody hasn't recommended this to you already, which I highly doubt. But this is obviously Naoki Urasawa work that has, done super well. It's really good. Some people say it's better than Monster, but some people say it's just a little worse than Monster, which isn't really much of a knock considering Monster is one of the best manga series ever made, which is widely accepted by the manga community. So it's a really good feat. Definitely worth checking out if you guys have never seen it, as the 20th Century Perfect Editions have, just about all came out. There's just the 21st Century Boys, which will cap off as an epilogue. These are also available in singles, but they're not as easy to find as the Perfect Edition. So I personally just feel like the Perfect Editions look nice enough. They make a little image once you have the rest. The reason why I don't have the remaining volumes here is because they are upstairs in my room in my TBR pile. But I do have the full set that's been released at this point. Next on the list is a manga I actually haven't even read yet. I have a few duplicates, which is what you're seeing on the shelf here. But this is a certain scientific railgun. It's a spin-off of a certain magical index set in this futuristic world called Academy City, made up of 80% of students, many of whom are espers possessing unique psychic powers. It follows Mikoto Misaka, who is an electro master, who is the third strongest of a mere 7 espers who have been given the rank of level 5. The series focuses on the exploits of Mikoto and her friends Kuroko Shirai, Kazari Uiharu, and Ruiku Satin prior to the events of a certain magical index. So this kind of acts as a prequel. This has been super popular, and this series is pretty hard to find. So if you're interested in picking up this series, probably should act sooner than later. It was harder to find during the pandemic, but it was still really hard to find before it. So this is not a series that's really easy to track down, so good luck to anybody hunting it. Definitely check around Mercari and things like that. That's actually where I got my set, was Mercari. Next will be A Silent Voice. Just going to pull out a random volume here. These covers are all pretty similar. They show the emotional states between the two main characters here. Shoya Ishida and Shoko Nishima, the two main characters. Shoko is the deaf girl on the right, and Shoya, I don't know how else you say it, is the guy on the right who bullied her when they were younger. They kind of move apart from each other and grow up, and the main character realizes he's being he's been a huge jerk to himself, to her and kind of his friends, but he also gets bullied throughout the series. So it's kind of a touching story, a lot of drama, a lot of high school angst and hormones, things like that. People constantly thinking they're doing things wrong, but other people thinking that they're doing things so great because they did those things. It's a really good story and a coming-to-age tale that I definitely recommend reading. If you can get the box set for a good deal, it goes on sale pretty often, like Amazon, for like 40 or 50 bucks. So I wouldn't pay too much money for this series, but I would definitely pick it up, or at the very least watch the movie. I hear the movie's quite good as well. Coming up on the next series to show off, I gotta think of good transition words, Jesus. The Heroic Legend of Arsene. This is actually by the same creator as the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist, if you can believe it. So after Fullmetal, the author decided to then make a manga called Silver Spoon. Following that, it was this one. I have everything up to date for this series, but I just have not read it. So if you watch my weeklies, it'll probably be up there at some point. Anyways, the story is about a legendary vision of an indistinct amalgam of over 1,000 years of ancient Persia and nearby other countries, so they're like fused together. While the world in which it takes place is one where magic obviously exists, said magic is extremely limited in nature. Until the middle of the anime, the only magical happenings involve a few spells on a giant humanoid monster. There are many evil monsters, such as ghouls and winged monkeys, sounds like Wizard of Oz, that appear in the second half of the novel series. Especially in the first half of the series is at a core a war story taking place between human nations. In addition, there are underlying themes of exploring the repercussions of slavery on society and having an absolute monarch who treats the poor as cattle and the religious obsession. Anyways, this is based on a light novel. I was just reading you guys the plot, according to Wikipedia, of the light novel. The manga follows it pretty closely, and there's also an anime as well. I haven't watched the anime at all, but, I mean, like, it's the same mangaka as Fullmetal. I mean, how bad can that possibly be? So I really have high hopes to read this when I do read it. Just, it's going to take me a while, okay? I got a long backlog. Assassination Classroom is a manga that came out a few years ago. I actually bought the whole box set to it, but I started buying it when it was coming out as singles. And then I stopped buying manga, and I only have a few. So I've got a few duplicates on my shelf here, so that's what you're looking at right now. Assassination Classroom pretty much follows this octopus-like alien creature who threatens to destroy the moon by the end of the school year, 365 days. Or something like that. By the time graduation hits in May. And so it's up to the class that he's teaching to assassinate him. The person who assassinates him gets $1 bajillion, and so the whole class wants to kill him. They also find out a few more things about the teacher. And the manga starts off kind of like overwhelming, or it doesn't seem like you're going to get to know all the characters, but eventually you do get to know the side characters quite well. It really helps build into something very interesting. I would say you have to give this manga a few volumes to really get into it. I think the beginning's pretty slow. Once you get past kind of volume 7, 8-ish, which is kind of a big ask to read that far in, it really starts to pick up. It's definitely a series I recommend to people, and the author is making, I think it's called Flower Samurai currently in Shonen Jump, which is another series that I definitely want to check out. I hope it gets printed to English. I'm sure it will, because most of the shonen titles do. But yeah, this is definitely a great title. It's very funny, it's action-packed, and there's some drama to it as well. Definitely worth a read if you are new to anime and manga as well, or even a watch. The anime was pretty good as well. And the ending is very, very kind of, depressing. But I don't want to spoil too much about it. Just let you know that there's some emotional feels in this manga. I'm going to go through these really quickly. So, Attack on Titan is what this whole thing is. This is Attack on Junior High. It's a spin-off / parody. What if the Titans were high schoolers and, the main human characters were from middle school. People say it's not that funny. When I was younger and I read it, I thought it was pretty good. It came out in 5 omnibus volumes in America that almost include the whole series. The only one that hasn't came out to America is called High School. I doubt we'll ever get it. It came out bizarrely 2 years after the series ended, Attack on Junior High, that is, so I don't understand why it came out. But, you know, it is funny because it came out right after the last omnibus came out, so it's not like, you know, it's like, wow, America couldn't wait just like a little bit longer to include that last volume. I don't have all of these. I plan to get them all because I do remember them being funny. Maybe I just have a twisted sense of humor, but, you know, I felt like, why not? Since I do remember it being funny, I figure I'd give it a reread and finish it up. It's only 5 omnibuses, what the heck. The next spin-off title for Attack on Titan is called Attack on Titan Before the Fall. This is actually based off of a light novel, which was a spin-off of the same name. And, you know, it's broken down into 2 parts. It's reversed in the manga, so the first part in the manga is going to be about a boy named Kokoro, and he was found as a baby in a pile of Titan vomit and is thought to have been birthed by one of the Titan victims before they were eaten. He is labeled as the Titan son and was imprisoned for many of his younger years, and then eventually he's freed by his owner's daughter, Charles, who eventually joins the Survey Corps. The second half is about the developer of the vertical maneuvering gear named Angel Alatonen. And the series are set 70 years before Attack on Titan starts. So these are pretty early on stuff. And this goes on for 17 volumes. I've got the whole set. I haven't read the whole set, though. They're in my collection of the TBR pile, at least. Anyways, this is a pretty good series. I would definitely recommend it if you like Attack on Titan. Definitely not as good as the main series by any means, but it's still interesting to see it for sure. The volumes are fairly thick, too, which is nice. So you really get your money's worth when you pick them up. This next series is Attack on Titan No Regrets. It's a prequel focusing on Levi and his earlier days as a criminal in the underground city before he joined the Survey Corps or even the Academy. And it follows him in an underground city when he is with his 2 best friends, Isabel Magnolia and Farland Church, before he finds Erwin Smith and gets him recruited into the Survey Corps. So this kind of helps show how Levi kind of finds his way into the Corps. It's based on, again, a visual novel, and it does have the OVA based off of it as well. It's just 2 volumes long, so that's not so bad. There's only one other spin-off which isn't shown here, and that is Lost Girls. I have that in my TBR pile. I plan on reading it soon, but we'll see how long that takes. It's kind of low priority in my opinion. And that features Annie and Mikasa. And just kind of their daily life, I suppose. I don't really exactly know what it does, but it features them on the cover, and I have it, but haven't read it yet. And it's like, what am I gonna not get the last the last manga spinoff? I doubt it. Anyways, these are all based off of light novels. I think the only one that isn't is Junior High, which is probably the only one that people wouldn't consider getting. So I think that's funny. Finally, we have Attack on Titan, the main series. This follows a story revolving Eren Yeager, who lives in this town inside this kind of multi-walled circle city where humans live. Over 100 years ago, humanity was driven to the brink of extinction after the emergence of these humanoid giants called Titans. These Titans attack and eat humans on sight. The last remnants of humanity decided to hide behind those 3 walls I was just talking about and enjoyed about 100 years of peace. But then the Titans start to break through the wall. And once they break through the wall, Eren's mother is killed, his house is pretty much abandoned, and humanity feels that it's no longer safe to live in that town anymore. So everybody tries to retreat, and it causes this huge panic, and everybody kind of just stepping over each other to get out of there. This causes Eren to have an extreme hatred for the Titans because of this. Eventually, Eren, his adopted sister or friend, Mikasa Ackerman, and Armin Arlert decide to join the military corps to help save humanity from the Titans and eliminate every last one of them. This causes them to go down a path of kind of mystery and figure out what actually happened with the Titans to make them become like this. It is a pretty interesting story. It definitely starts off weaker and gets much better as the story goes on. It's really good if you guys haven't heard of it, and it's just ending now. Very recently, actually, it had the last chapter out. I'm all up to date on this. I don't have them all on my bookshelf because I'm still reading through it. I only have to read the final season that's airing right now as an anime left to read. So hopefully they bring the last volume over pretty much as soon as it hits Japan, because I can't wait to binge it, and it's really climbing my to-be-read pile very quickly, so I need to get my hands on that thing ASAP. This next series is by the same creative team who made Death Note, Tsugumi Oba and Takashi Obata. This is called Bakuman. It's based on a junior high student, Moritaka Mashiro, whose uncle used to work for Shonen Jump and make manga. He forgets his notebook in his classroom one day, and his classmate Akito Takagi notices the drawings and says, "Listen, man, that's some dope-ass art. Let's become manga artists together." So one of the big weaknesses for Takagi is that he can't really draw that good, but he's like a genius when it comes to storytelling. So the two decide to, pair up after Mashiro, of course, declines it because you gotta decline it. And the reason why is because he says that his uncle died from overworking, and he doesn't want to drag anyone else into this. But Mashiro also has a crush on a girl named Miho Azuki, and the two of them each have a dream. Azuki wants to become a voice actress in an anime, and Mashiro wants to have a anime adaptation of his manga with her as the voice actress. So he decides to propose to her, and it's like one of the first chapters, so this isn't a spoiler. He decides to propose to her and say, we should get married when our dreams come true, but not until then. And so they don't see each other really at all throughout the manga for the most part, because it's part of the condition to not meet, face to face. They can still text and chat with each other though. So the two of them begin to make manga, and Azuki begins to practice voice working and tries to get into the anime business. This is a longer series really. As you can see, it ends at volume 20, but this is great. One of the better manga series I've really read, and apparently the anime is good too, but I haven't really watched the anime too much, so I don't know how true or how good it is to the manga. However, my favorite character in the series is Kazuya Hiromaru. His work is called Otter Number 11. It's kind of similar to Gintama, where it's a joke parody manga. Anyways, it's about this otter who has to work a life. Okay, screw this. I'm not talking about the Otter Number 11 right now. Let's talk about this character real quick. Anyways, he's a 26-year-old manga artist who decided to just randomly quit his job, not as a manga artist, but like working in a daytime job, to become a manga artist. He picks up Shonen Jump one day just like randomly at a convenience store after he quit, and decides that he wants to become a manga artist because it's going to be far less troublesome than his office work. So he ends up drawing Otter Number 11. Otter Number 11 is, like I said, kind of a parody manga, but it is directly related to his like emotional well-being. So when he makes it, if he's really sad and in a crappy mood, then Otter Number 11 is awesome. If he's ever happy and life's going good, then Otter Number 11 sucks, and it like drops in the popularity polls. So he's a really funny character to watch and follow along with. But obviously the duo is the main focus of the story. The supporting cast of this whole series is really good. It's kind of what I'm getting at as a point. I strongly recommend checking out this series if you haven't. And if you watch the anime, let me know how it is, so maybe I can recommend that to people as well. Something that's a critique of this manga is that it's quite wordy, and that's fairly true for this duo's, the mangaka's works, is it's got a lot of words in it. Death Note's no exception. So that's not really anything new to me, but to some it might be a turnoff. Okay, that's gonna do it here for the first part. I'm gonna do several of these videos to really break down my collection. I'll upload one mega video after it's done, but this is going to take forever, and I feel like I shouldn't make you guys wait much longer than you already have for this kind of a video. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Leave some comments down below. Maybe I'll make some changes as I'm recording this. But thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.